Hello? Make sure this thing works, man. Earlier when I was testing it was malfunctioning. I don't know. Maybe there's too much spin on it or something. Pause. Stop. Let me stop, man. What's today? Today's Tuesday. This is like my fifth day of vacation. This shit is pretty cool, man. I feel like days off are important. And it's got me wondering why do we work 5 days a week? Why do we work 40 hours in a week? And why up to this point have we always felt like we gotta always be at the job? And why don't people just get guaranteed vacation? Companies really expect people to be ready to do stuff for them 365 days a year. That's crazy to me. It's almost like they don't want you to have time for your family. But I love my job because, the way the calendar is set up, we get breaks and shit. So it's cool. So I'm not upset, man. It's been a good week. Hey man, we need the time to, woosah and like get right, do all these things. That's what a vacation is for. I might go out of town for a couple of days. I don't know, man. There's just options unlimited at this point, and I love it. Shout out to Gab. Gabby's in the chat, bro. We have been without power all day, and I'm finally waiting in line for Mexican food after driving around for hot food for 2 hours. Damn. Okay. You know what's crazy? I will start the show with this because I have something on here for people in Texas and the snow. Gabby, I'm sorry that you're without power, Cuddy. I didn't realize that was happening to you. You know what's crazy? I got lucky. We had power this whole damn time because we had snow this past weekend as well. Houston, obviously, is an area that's been talked about a lot. They got hit pretty bad. Texas in general had a lot of issues with snow, and now they don't have power. Gabby, I hope you make it through. Obviously, you are. I'm assuming you're probably on your phone. That's probably how you're talking to me right now. But please be safe. Make sure you get the biggest burrito that they have since you're getting Mexican food. The show is called Tacos After the Show. I wonder if maybe that's why you talking about. Maybe that's not why you're talking about the burrito. That's probably just coincidence. But either way, I'm having tacos after the show tonight because that's what I'm just choosing to do. And it feels good, man, because I feel like I haven't had tacos in a little bit. San Antonio's not set up for this type of weather. 8 inches of snow overnight. Oh my gosh. You know what's crazy? We're going to get into this because people out here in Seattle, I know like they get snow at least once a year. It's not the craziest of things, but like we're out here acting like some damn fools. And like I said, I had info, a topic on the show was how Texas, those people were acting crazy because they haven't seen snow in forever. I know when Gabby and I were little, when we lived in Texas together, there was one time I remember we were at our grandmother's house and little flakes started falling down. And like we went out and we were trying to like catch snowflakes and all this type of shit. This is when we were like little ass kids. And then like the next day, everything was just frozen. So we were out walking around the neighborhood, messing around, ice and snow and all that. But it wasn't crazy. This is crazy for them. Gabby says in the chat, they're not set up for this type of thing. But I'll tell you like this, fam. Seattle isn't either. I have friends down in Portland. They're crazy amounts of people without power, not set up for all the snow that they got. And I don't even think there's really a way that you can prepare for it because you don't actually know how much is going to come. Every time it happens, that's when you, as a city, they probably say, okay, this is maybe what we can tolerate because this is the amount of damage that happened. And maybe we could try to scale this back by 10%. But nobody is probably prepared for snowstorms unless you're like in the northeast portion of the country where they get the snow like that Texas got and like what we got over the weekend. It devastates us, but people in New York was laughing at us. Let's just be for real. They were laughing. And I don't blame them because, people were like, oh my God, we're snowed in. Oh my God. And I just was like, this is just like a regular ass day for me. I wasn't planning to do nothing on Saturday and Sunday anyway, and I didn't. Regular ass day. But like I said, people can't handle it. Gabby, put your Mexican food order in the chat. We want to know, people want to know what you're eating on. I'm interested to know. Maybe it'll spark some ideas for me when I go get dinner after the show. I want to get in. This is gonna be crazy. We're gonna start with some NFL talk, and this is gonna be very quick. I have to reiterate my take on Dak Prescott because people seem to be confused and they really believe that he's worth $40 million. But we're going to kind of stay in the NFL range, and we're going to talk about Adam Pac-Man Jones, who's actually a former Dallas Cowboy. What are the chances? The Cowboys still... Okay, Micah drinking the brews. I see you, bro. The Cowboys still have not given Dak Prescott a long-term deal. He's probably going to end up being franchise tagged again. They say that gives him all the leverage that he needs to really get the deal that he wants in Dallas. But it sounds like they're haggling over a couple $1 million, excuse me, and a year, basically a year's difference on the contract. Somebody wants 1 year less, somebody wants 1 year more. I think Dak wants less years, which is probably smart because you don't know how long you're going to be good in the NFL. You don't want to be stuck on a team that's going to be trash. The Dallas Cowboys are trash. It really, every time I hear it, I always immediately just say, bro, he's not worth $40 million a year. And there are people who will go on TV every day. It's their job. They get paid. They go on TV every day, and they're trying to convince us that he's worth $40 million a year. And some of these people are former players. And it's hard to tell a former player that somebody's not worth 40. So then I sit there and I wonder, am I allowed to say he's not worth 40? And then in my head, I go to review the tape. And when I think of Dak Prescott as far as elite quarterbacks in the NFL, I think, what does he do that some of these other people who aren't getting paid $40 million don't do? What does he do that they don't do? Aaron Rodgers doesn't get paid $40 million. He just won the MVP. Mahomes makes about 45 a year. Who else was up on the list? Like, I don't even think Dak Prescott is Matthew Stafford level. And Matthew Stafford doesn't make $40 million a year. The Rams just gave Detroit money to take Jared Goff off their hands because they realized very quickly that he wasn't worth the money that he was getting paid. And from the actual quarterback standpoint, I feel like Jared Goff can do more with his arm than what Dak can do. Dak's coming off of a very significant leg injury. Part of his appeal is that he can kind of throw the ball a little bit, but he's also mobile. So as we transition to a time where he will be less mobile and more just the arm, please show me where he's worth $40 million. Again, he can't do any of the things that Aaron Rodgers does. He can't do any of the things that Patrick Mahomes does. Like, I don't even think Dak is better than Matt Ryan. And you're probably going to say, like, oh, the guy talking about this is crazy. Look at the names he's naming. But I'm naming you people who have at least been to the playoffs. And even Matthew Stafford hasn't won, but Jared Goff, he went to a Super Bowl. That implies that he won a playoff game. Matt Ryan went to a Super Bowl. That implies he went to a playoff game. The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a playoff game since, I don't know, maybe they did that recently. But anything past winning one playoff game, they have not done. They're not even the best team in their division, in a division that is very, very sad. Eagles, Giants, Washington, Dallas. 40 million? I think he's just barely doing what Tony Romo was doing. He's not even as good as Tony Romo. I'm sorry. Because at least Tony Romo could throw the ball. Tony's biggest problem was that he couldn't stay healthy. His durability was always in question. And now you're going to have those same question marks around a guy who's coming off of a very significant leg injury. Bro, you need your wheels because, again, your appeal is that you're dual threat. You can throw the ball and you can run the ball. Without running the ball, you don't throw the ball very great. Again, $40 million a year? Nah. And then as we transition from Dak to another former player, we're going to talk about Adam Pac-Man Jones. This cracks me up because if you know anything about Adam Pac-Man Jones, you know he's somebody that's not to be played with. And I don't understand why other human beings keep running across this man and thinking that they're going to get the best of him in any given exchange, because you are not. And one of the reasons is because he does not care. He will punch you in your shit and leave you on the side of the road bleeding out. And apparently now he has been arrested because he was in an altercation where apparently he left some man unconscious and he knocked him out. Now, even just as early as I think is like last year, or 2 years ago, he's on a video at an airport fighting somebody at the airport. And it was self-defense. At least that's what they say. I don't know. I don't remember the whole video. I just remember him and Buddy going at it and then Buddy getting washed up. During his time in the league, I think he was also involved in some other type of altercation. I don't know. Was it a shooting or was it just another fight? Something crazy. But again, my point is he's not somebody y'all want to be messing with. Why do y'all keep messing with him? These just don't learn. So it says that this is early on Monday too. And he's 37, still fighting. He's booked around 1:54 a.m. This is in Ohio. He's in the Hamilton County Jail on one count of misdemeanor assault. Though the cause of the incident is unclear, court docs obtained say that Jones is accused of punching and kicking a person in the head until they were unresponsive. My only question for Adam, respectfully, is, buddy, what's wrong? Why are you so mad? And what does somebody do to you that at this point in your life you can't just walk away from? Now, if it's self-defense, that's one thing. But I feel like 37, Cuddy. You already looked like you bounced back from all that type of bullshit behavior. But now it looks like you only did it to just make sure that you kept the paychecks flowing. And now that the NFL paychecks aren't flowing, it's like, fuck it, all bets are off. Like, you worked your way back from a suspension, bro. I think multiple times, if I remember correctly. Why put yourself in a position where you got to go through all that again? It ain't worth it. But again, why do y'all keep messing with him? Maybe he just needs to wear a shirt with his face on it. It says, I am Pac-Man Jones. If you get too close, I might strike. That could be in his best interest. And I bet people will leave him alone. Because for some reason, people keep running across him and thinking that he's some type of sucker. And then he's putting mad people to sleep. And this is not a good move for him. Sorry, I'm out here goofing. This is not a good move for him. Knocked the dude out and then kicked him till he's unresponsive. I talked about a story on this show where, like, me and a friend of mine, we got in a bar fight like this. And Buddy was acting crazy. So I did what had to be done. I gave him that 3-piece and a biscuit. Bang, bang, bang. Sleep. And then my friend came behind me, unbeknownst to me at the time, and he kicked him. I had already beat him. So it was unnecessary. What's the point? That little kick to the head almost got me 2 years. Luckily, charges got dropped because this was a whole situation where Buddy, like, in plain view of tons of people, created this entire toxic environment. We had character witnesses, people wrote letters, people testified me. How it was a whole thing. But him and his people, they tried to get me caught up. Oh, I forgot to mention that my friend who kicked Buddy's wife. And when the victim didn't show up to court, they told my friend, like, oh, it's cool. He not coming. Everything dropped. Don't worry about it. When it came to me, the state was like, oh, we still would like to push forward and try to, and we're trying to get the maximum. 2 years, Cuddy. Oh my God. And this, I didn't kick him. Listen, because you had a beer bottle in your hand, you went to try to strike me with it. And I told you from jump that I would do you bad. And you didn't believe it. And so it happened. But I say all this to say that in the end, it's not worth it. Because a lot of these people, they just call the cops on you. And then now you have to do time. I don't want to be in a space where I'm 37 looking at time because I've been involved in an altercation. Again, if it's just self-defense, you do what you got to do. But I feel like once the person is on the ground, you've beat them. Kicking them in the head, pointless. Steph's in the chat. What's up, Steph? What's up, Steph? Yeah. Now I'm all distracted. What was I saying? Yeah, Buddy kicked him in the head. What Pac-Man Jones, your whole life probably been finna be over because people are tired of this. Let's see. I didn't talk about this the other day because we're trying to not talk about these goofy ass people. And it's all this like political crap, this Trump stuff. Like, listen, for those of you who were like, oh my God, I can't believe he was acquitted. What do you mean? He's white and he's a man. That's it. Of course. Of course he was acquitted. You thought he was going to jail? It made me laugh just thinking about it, thinking that people were actually sitting in front of their TVs being like, yeah, we got him. You hear that? We got him. No, man. You never had him. You never had him. Yeah, those poor children being with Travis. Travis is an idiot. I'm obviously talking about something different now. I'm responding to Gabby's comment because I know these children. I know their father. I know their father's a fucking loser. When I was doing the deadbeat dad type of talk, he's included in that. Him and Skids, and then my friend Kimmy, her old dude Bobby. I had lunch with her the other day. I was letting her know we were talking about old sorry ass Bobby on the show the other day. Not really specifically about him, just deadbeat ass dads. Why do I know so many of these people? Trash. Y'all have kids, wonderful children, missing out, treating them bad, not doing right, cornballs. Anyway. Damn, Gab, sorry about that. We hate to hear that you're not in as much contact as you would like to be with your children. That's never fun, especially when you're having to deal with a shitty ass partner or ex-partner, all that. But anyway, if y'all were really thinking Trump was finna go to jail, you were crazy. He's a man that comes from a background of big time money, which, that means big time connections, which gives you the get out of jail free card. You know how I knew he wasn't going to jail? Because he never stopped doing any of the stuff that he was doing, even when people cried about it since jump. He knew he wasn't going to jail. He knew he could do this stuff for forever and a day, and it wasn't going to matter. The worst thing that has happened to him is that now he's permanently banned from Twitter. But if y'all can't bring him up on charges it makes the whole permanent ban on Twitter thing even more silly than it already was. Because how stupid is that? You banned him from an online platform. That's the most justice that he has faced for any of the shit that he has said or done to the American people while he was the leader, and even after the fact. He's still him. Why you think he be laughing and smirking all the time? Because he already know. He knew he wasn't getting in no trouble. That's how they be acting, bro. This is how they be acting. And whether you believe any of the stuff he did was right or wrong, it don't matter. We're in a situation where you watch somebody do the right thing, violate like the oath of their job in many capacities, and you watched him walk away from that shit unscathed. He talking about 2 impeachments? He had more, I mean, 2 impeachments, bro. Come on. And y'all couldn't get him caught up because they don't want him caught up. Just face it. White men protect other white men. That's because they all know about the hookers that they've all slept with. And if they let one fall, then they all fall. There's nothing untrue about the statement that I just made. They know secrets about each other. And if they don't want those secrets to go out, they got to let Buddy get a pass. That's just me connecting the dots. That was a terrible hand. I don't really know, but I'm connecting the dots. Anyway, do you wear socks when you go to bed, or are you a psycho? No, you are a psycho if you wear your socks when you go to bed. If you don't wear socks when you go to bed, you're probably a normal human being. I seen some video earlier this morning and it was from a doctor. So I guess I can't say she's a psycho, but I don't know, man, because doctors be lying. Maybe it was just for views. But she had this whole explanation. I was like, yo, that shit actually sounds believable. You know, you wear your socks to bed, it keeps your feet warm, and then that keeps something about keeping your body cool and your brain. And I was like, no, chick, because if I wear my socks to bed, I'm gonna be in this motherfucker sweat. It's as simple as that. I'm not trying to heat my body up to put me to sleep. But I get it though, because you'll always hear the expression, people like, oh, like a warm sleeping bag. Because you think when you sleep in a sleeping bag, you're nice and you're cozy, and it usually helps people go to sleep. Nah, Cuddy, I'm the exact opposite. Even during the snow days, I had all the windows in my apartment open and the heat on. Because my body doesn't know. I don't know what temperature it needs to be for me to be comfortable. It needs to be somewhere between 26 degrees and 67 degrees. And in between there's anybody's guess what's going to happen. Even last year, during the winter time, I still was running my air conditioning unit and had the heat on. Yes, I got 3, but I have 3 blankets on the bed. No. Not blankets. 1 blanket, a comforter, and then a duvet. Because I'm fancy like that. I sleep under all 3 of those every freaking night, man. Again, all these windows are open right now because I got to keep it cool in here. But notice, I got jeans and a hoodie on because I just don't know, okay? But I know one thing. You won't ever catch me wearing socks to bed because that's psycho shit, all right? But if you wear your socks to bed, do your thing. I don't know. You just won't be sleeping in the bed with me. That's not finna happen. Shout out to Steph. Steph has to be cold. Yeah, I don't understand how people go to bed sweating. That's crazy shit, right? Still waiting on the food. I'm still waiting to hear what you ordered. Put your order in the chat, cuz. What did you order from the Mexican spot? Steph, what are you having for dinner? I'm trying to get some dinner ideas, even though it says I'm having tacos after the show. I've just paused the show so we can interact in the chat about food because that's more important than this other shit that I was just talking about. So eyes on the chat just in case. You know what I did have for lunch? I had Trappers sushi. Shout out to Trappers if you're from this area. I don't know how many of these establishments they have across the globe, but I know they have one in Kent and Tequila, Puyallup, maybe. I don't know, man. Washington natives. You have some sushi at Trappers. Green juice. I'm doing a cleanse and I'm pissed about it. Yeah, I bet you are. I'm not doing cleanses. I have been dropping the LBs. And I actually look really good. It's been a long time since I looked this good. And not even on some like weirdo bragging type of stuff. Just like I'm just being completely honest with you. You know, when you go from having pancake titties to, having like a sculpted looking chest, the push-ups are paying off. The hard work is actually paying off. It's all about the effort, man. If you don't want to, like, I don't know. Listen, anybody who looks like whatever, you be you, enjoy your body. I'm saying for me personally, I don't know. No, I'm not even doing none of that. I'm not trying to be looking like I'm not trying to look sloppy. Let me just say that. I don't know if there isn't a real correct word for it, because anything you say, people are going to be like, oh, so what are you trying to say about me? I'm talking about me. I know what I like to look like. I remember what I once looked like, and I'm talking about when I was a young boy, and I'm trying to get back to something like that. This is the thinnest and best I've looked since probably 2009. So it's something to be celebrated, because if there's hope for me, there's definitely hope for you. So shout out to you if you were on your weight loss and your fitness journey. Any progress that you made is super dope, because you could be going the other way. A lot of people are going the other way, especially based on the time that we're in. So shout out to everybody that's killing it. Oh, sheesh, with my disease of cleanses, laxative, gosh, cuz why? Wait, don't put that in the chat while I'm trying to do this show. Nah, I can't focus because my sister's in here being nasty. I love it. This is mad funny. You know what? Shout out to you, Gabby, battling a disease that I do not know much about, but I actually know you and another great friend of mine actually have the same thing. And listen, yeah, I'm not starting an OnlyFans. No one will pay for that, because what am I gonna do on there? Y'all gonna watch me work out and eat cereal? I guess I could just do shows butt ass naked. But then that's not going to be very appealing, because I don't do the show standing up. I do them sitting down. You wouldn't get to see anything. It would just be me shirt off. I can do the next show tomorrow with my shirt off. That's not a big deal, because I'm like that now. Like I can go out with my shirt off. It's not a big deal. I couldn't always do that. Oh, you don't have to be naked on OnlyFans? Okay, bet. If I knew that, then I would have been on there years ago. But I just figured, listen, if I'm not actually going to get naked, who's paying for that? And listen, my fees are low because I just need y'all to cover the cost of the cereal. I'm not being greedy, because this is a gift, people. I don't have to make y'all pay for this. Just reimburse me for the cereal. Do pranks? Yeah, I could definitely do some pranks. You know, I should do prank calls. I've been wanting to do prank calls for some time. I remember me and Priscilla talked about doing prank calls. We had a whole show idea behind it, and then we just never did it. And I feel like that shit still needs to be on the table, because it would be funny. Prank calls are funny. I mean, but nowadays people are really just screening calls. Who's really going to pick up? We're going to be doing prank voice messages. And I think that there could be some appeal to that. We could probably get an audience. Yeah, Gab, I know. Tacos is something that was kind of implied when you said you were getting Mexican food. I'm talking about your specific order, Cuddy. What are you getting? Okay. I want to give a big shout out to T-Pain. Not playing any music tonight. But it was just interesting to me. I thought about the history of T-Pain, at least the history that I know. And I feel like I've talked about Buddy on this before, but I feel like low key people still walk around pretending like he's not a great artist and producer. Like he is a world-class musician. And I feel like some people think he's kind of a joke because of the whole auto-tune thing, but they don't actually realize that Buddy can really sing and he could dance. And I just feel like we just owe him we owe him some roses, man. I feel like we sleep on T-Pain, and he has a few cuts that I really like. 69 is a good cut. Maybe let's do a 69. That's the cut. What was the one he had with him and Nivea? What is it? All I Ask or something like that? That was crazy. Obviously, you're talking, when you think I'm in love with a stripper and I'm sprung, like these are like radio cuts. Yeah, we know he has those. Let's Get It On is a classic record. I just feel like T-Pain was slept on. And I feel like, in the last few years, I'm not saying that he has fallen off. I don't feel like people give him the chance to be great. And one of his last projects that I had realized that he had done like a couple years ago, I listened to it. And it was actually really good. And I talked about it on the show. But again, I just feel like people are sleeping on T-Pain and his greatness. So I just somebody I wanted to provide some roses to. Well, I'm going to take forever. We can't sit on here all day and talk about everything. I'm not going to do that. Y'all, I think y'all know. Just go listen to the music and just remember simpler times. And try not to focus on him being on these corny ass mainstream one-hit wonder hooks and stuff like that. That's not where his dominance was, I think. I mean, he had that. He could do the hooks, he could do the production, he could sing, he could dance, he could do all these things. But I really feel like where people kind of, shortchange him a little bit is when you talk about his actual ability to sing. He's better than people think. Let me see. Yesterday, I tried to not purposely go away from this, but excuse me, those sushi burps. Yesterday was a young man named Jordan Davis. It was his birthday. And you probably are thinking, who is Jordan Davis? Jordan Davis was a young black man who was killed by a white guy at a gas station for having his music up too loud. And I remember this story and thinking, this is so crazy because even today was kind of a nice day. We had a little bit of sunlight and I'm riding around. I've always been somebody I love music. Y'all see me on the show. The music is always loud. I'm always jamming, turned up to the max. Have to be. It's just how I am. I love music. But it's crazy to think that some white guy just decided that when he saw this person and he was jamming his music at the gas station, in that moment, he decided, well, because of the music that you listen to, I've deemed you as some sort of thug and some sort of criminal, and I'm going to take it upon myself to put a stop to your entire existence. In that moment, that guy decided that. And it's crazy because this was in Jacksonville. I lived in Jacksonville for a period of time. I lived off Hodges Boulevard, man. I used to think people would always tell me yo, you're in an area where they have a lot of shootings. And I don't know if that was actually true. I don't know if we had a lot of shootings in Jayville like that. Did I hear gunfire from time to time? Yeah. But I was always at the apartment or I was at work. Anything after 5 p.m. is no good for you, bro. When it hit nighttime, there ain't no reason to be outside because that's when bullshit just be happening. But it's crazy to think that in a city like that, this young man's just at a gas station listening to his music. And Michael Dunn, one of these good old boys, he fired 10 shots into a vehicle because the music was too loud. Think about that. Think about that in your brain. Just say to yourself, in this moment, I'm frustrated with somebody because their music is so loud that I want to shoot them 10 times. Shoot in their direction 10 times. Dunn was convicted of 3 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of first-degree murder, and was sentenced to 90 years plus life. $90 years plus life. That's crazy. feel like for some reason that just, I thought they give like 10 years per bullet. I guess, it adds up. You do the 90 plus, like, yeah, that's right. Because the one that killed him got on the life sentence, and then they used 10 years for every other round after that. So that makes sense. But even still, Jordan is not here. And within the last couple hours, Michael Dunn was just given a free meal. Think about that. Craziness. I did see today that, you guys remember last year we did a story on Central Park Karen, shorty that like called the cops on Buddy when she was walking her dog, and then Buddy recorded her, and then she started doing all this crazy stuff, and it ended up being a thing. And then excuse me, they were talking about bringing her up on charges because she made this false claim, and it was all on tape and all this shit. Well, as usual, they swoop in at the 11th hour and they save her. Because why wouldn't they save her? They don't want to ruin her life, right? Because they can't ruin their lives, right? Amy Cooper, better known as the Central Park Karen, and she has that name for making a false report against a black man. You guys know that. But it says that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, I want to say the whole thing so you understand who these people are. They have agreed to dismiss Cooper's charge of falsely reporting an incident because she has completed a program intended to address racial bias. It wasn't very long, maybe a day or two, complimentary breakfast, all that type of shit. And they basically say this is how you're supposed to treat people of color. I'm listening. I'm willing to bet that the training that they give is probably written by other white people. And so they'll tell you how you're supposed to talk to us and interact with us and all that type of shit. And it's cool because some of that should be working, man. I know Gabby's been through training like that. I've been through a training like that. I'm sure Steph has been through a training like that at her job. Because it's just one of those things, like a couple of slides that they show you at like in between like the sexual harassment part and then the part about like your W-2s. Like they'll put in a training right there. Okay, chicken tacos, I'm lit. Oh, margaritas, I'm lit. Yeah. The training probably isn't much. But because she completed it and now she has a certificate, she's not racist. So why would they want to continue to press charges on her? Because if you do that, then you ruin her life, right? I wonder if when they picked up Khalif Browder, if they would have just asked him, hey, is this backpack yours? And then he would have said no. Or even if it was, maybe they could have just put him through a training program and they would have been like, oh, don't take backpacks. Even though you didn't take this was the worst that we were going to do to you. Was make you go through a training program and then we'll dismiss all your charges. But instead, he sat in solitary confinement for more than 700 fucking days. Do I need to go back to the whole Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman and their whole situation? And then you compare it to these other black women who were serving actual time for committing way less offensive. I mean, come on, man. They always look for ways that they can make an example out of people of color. You have an opportunity to make an example out of this white woman, so they'll stop calling the cops on people for no damn reason. And you're declining to take that opportunity because she passed a course designed to address racial bias. Again, probably written by white people. A friend of mine was telling me that they want to run away because they feel like they have to address racial equity every single day. And I was not offended by that because I can completely understand how people can get burnt out doing that shit. I kind of got burnt out doing it on this show. Why do I have to tell you every day that my life and my sister's life matters? that Steph's kids' lives matter? Why do I have to say that my nieces and nephews' lives matter? We shouldn't have to fucking tell you that. You should already know that shit. And then it got me to thinking ways in which that this stuff can burn you out. And I think for me, the reason I got burnt out because I got tired of basically white people asking me how I can fix racism. How the fuck should I know? I wasn't there when y'all were at the table designing this whole program. This is y'all problem. It's not my problem. It's your problem. Stop asking me. Now, if you want to know, I don't know. I can't give you anything. I don't do a lot. If you want to know how to command a crowd and tell jokes and be able to get up in front of people and speak in public and do that, even though you were somebody who was told that you're probably not even great at reading out loud. And now look at me, thriving. I can help you with that, but I can't help you fix racism. That's not my job as a black person. You hear the dogs barking in the back? It's because Maggie's coming for y'all. All these people that are expecting people of color to fix their problems and their past transgressions, you need to do that on your own. And again, you going to a course that addresses racial bias doesn't cure the problem that I know you have. Because the problem that you have is that when you get frustrated and when you get angry, and when people who are in front of you do not look like you, your first thought is to do everything you can to ruin their life because you're conditioned to think that people of color are less than you as a white person. So taking this little course don't do nothing because I've worked next to people who took these courses and are racist as fuck. I worked with a lady who said the N-word in front of me while her and I were in a room at the actual YMCA, cuz. I had that happen. I know she took those courses. I seen her at those committee meetings. That don't mean nothing. It ain't nothing to go sit and be like, yeah. And they have a sign that says, did you come to this? Did you stay? Did you take the little, like, I did this little quiz type of little deal? Did you hand it in? And then we put your name on a spreadsheet and then we have you documented as taking this course. That's all you got to do. That don't cure what is all up in here and all that negative shit in your body. Because you saw the video. You saw how she called the cops on him when he's asking her not to violate his space. You saw how quickly she went into victim mode. Taking that little course don't make you not racist, Cuddy. I'm sorry, but me personally, I see through that shit. So I'm saying, I've done the same thing. These courses don't really do nothing if you're not putting your best foot forward. And I can almost guarantee you for Central Park Karen, listen, maybe there's a chance. Let me do that because we say we're turning over a new leaf, right? Maybe there's a chance. But like Steph says, took anger management and still be ready to fight. I've taken anger management. I've even taught the class. Still be ready to fight. So I'm not going to say that she's still racist, but I don't think it's likely that that little course she took cured her of her problem. So when you let her off the hook, you basically now have set the tone for all these people. That means they can be involved in these circumstances, and that the worst that will happen to them is that they'll just need to go take a course and it'll be over. I'll just take this 7 to 10 times. It's not going to matter, right? Right? Pathetic. Yeah, you have to want to change. Absolutely, Steph. Thank you. You have to want to change. And I'm sorry, maybe it's just me. You could say I'm jaded and bitter as a black person, maybe. But like, it's like the same thing with Chris Boyle. Just because Urban Meyer said that he knew Buddy for 20 years, you think all that racism within him is cured? No, I'm not having that, bro. If I find out that you as a white person have racist tendencies or that you were once racist, you can be cool. We can be civil in the space because I'm not a dick. I don't have no problem talking to you. As long as you don't disrespect me, we'll always be good. And I mean good in a sense where I won't feel the need to like be on the defense with you. And plus, I think that when you look at me and you see me in a public space, you probably think twice before you say some crazy shit like that to me. Usually what they do is they do it behind your back. And so since I know that about a lot of these people, I don't care nothing about it. Plus, nothing that y'all say from a racist standpoint really can impact me like that, because I know it all comes from a place of fear, and because you hate yourself more than you hate me. I already know that. But again, once you get caught in that space, I'm just left to assume that that's just really who you kind of are. Now, you can do everything you can to go out of your way and keep proving it. And then after a while, we'll start to be like, yeah, maybe Buddy learned his lesson. But still, people are going to keep an eye on it, because they're going to know that that type of stuff is always within you. Because why does it come out in the first place? Look at that video. Why does she feel the need to call the cops on him when he just asked her to take a couple of steps back from his area? That made you feel like you needed to get law enforcement involved because somebody told you to back up from their space? Cuz madness. They should have done something about it. I want to talk about two more things and I'm getting up out of here. So I seen today where they have this college basketball player at Duke. He's opting out for the rest of the season so he can focus on the NBA draft. I do not want to make a habit of coming on here and putting the pressure to these kids and it coming off like we're bashing kids. But I have a problem with the guidance that he's being provided in life, because it told him that he should play most of the season with his teammates. And then because they're not doing well, now he should basically quit on them so he can focus on his own personal dreams and aspirations. I think that is a bad move. It is a terrible precedent to set for these kids who are coming up, man. You do not want to do that. And there's no integrity in that, in my opinion. I feel like you can't play the season and then because you guys are bad, then quit 3 weeks before it's over. That's not fair to your coach, to your teammates, and it's not fair to the scholarship that you took, because they could have given it to somebody else if you weren't actually going to play and you were going to stay home and just get ready for the NBA draft. Even if you're good enough to go, that's awesome. But young man, I don't think you are doing the right thing. It's not honorable, at least, either. And I think if I'm an NBA team, I have a hard time trusting that you will actually want to get on the team and produce every single night for this franchise. Because if things get tough for you, you might quit. And that means that there's an issue with your character. I just want to say that, because that shit's crazy. Opting out 3 weeks before the season's over. And I know people are going to be like, oh, he has his reasons and he's going to be a number 5 pick and he got a little bit. I don't care. I do not care, because you signed the scholarship. You signed those papers. You made that commitment. We got to teach these kids that commitments matter. If you were going to say you're going to do something, you got to do it. I've goofed on a whole bunch of things where I said I was going to do it and I didn't do it. And you know what? It's not honorable. That's shitty shit, man. And you're going to end up being a garbage human for that. Don't allow that to be your situation. You might as well just play the rest of the season like you agreed to. If you didn't want to play, you should have opted out when they gave everybody the space to do that, which should have been the beginning of the year. And you waited, so you need to finish out. But of course, they're gonna let him do what he want to do, obviously, because we can't make people do stuff that they don't want to do. But there's a part of me that feels like he needs to learn a lesson and can't be rewarded for this shit. Gabby's sending me pictures of the margaritas. Wish I could send somebody to whoop your tail for making me jealous like that in that moment. Because I need a drink. I need a margarita. Steph, pull up. Let's go get margaritas. My last thing is this. I was thinking about this today. You know, you think about nostalgia. You think about the things that were so cool when we were kids. And one of the things I really loved as a kid, two things. Let me clear my throat. Transformers and the Ninja Turtles. And these are all great, right? I'm sure when you hear those, you're like, oh my God. The Ninja Turtles, the originals. Oh my God, they're so great. April O'Neil. Oh. Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael. The whole clique, man. Everything was dope. Transformers is dope. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, everything is dope. And I feel like now when I see any of this stuff pop up on the streaming services, I'm like, well, I don't want to watch this shit. And for some of it, I think it's just kind of been ruined for me a little bit. When they went to reboot Transformers, they sold us on this dream that this was going to have the craziest special effects. We're going to get some of the best actors, best up and coming. We got this girl, Megan Fox. We got this young man, Shia LaBeouf. He's been great. He came from Disney, da-da-da-da-da, Eagle Eye, Disturbia, other things, Lawless, all these movies. He's great. And he does okay. The action is cool. It's okay. Special effects, they're pretty good. Michael Bay does a good job. Everything is exploding. And that's what she said. Like I said, the action is great. We're like, you get to the second movie, Shia does an okay job. Then the third movie, he's not in it. Megan Fox not in it. It's different. Everybody's starting to be different. But for some reason, Tyrese and Josh Duhamel keep getting recast. What the fuck going on in Hollywood that these two jokers keep getting jobs, but y'all couldn't keep Shia LaBeouf in his prosthetic hand? And I know you're talking about, what do you mean? Because during this whole situation, something happened to him where he had to get a prosthetic hand, I heard. Now, if that's not true, then obviously we sound crazy. But I'm just recapping what I heard about Transformers. I'm like, is this why he wasn't in the movie? Because I felt like the franchise started to suffer after that. We fast forward 2 more movies, we get Mark Wahlberg, and you're thinking, oh my God, back when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark. This is how we used to make the party start. And we had Mark Wahlberg. And then there's these new cast members, of course. And then the storyline is crazy as hell. I couldn't follow it. And Mark doesn't do too bad because, he's action all the time. Every movie Mark Wahlberg's in, he's doing some action. There's some element of action. It could be a movie. Even in the movie was an Instant Family. There was action because they argued a lot. And that was a really great movie. If you haven't seen that, it's a wonderful film about Mark Wahlberg, his beautiful wife. They're trying to get children and they try to adopt these 3 wonderful kids. And, it's touch and go. But in the end, it all works out great. I loved it. Hit you right here. Then there's this Bumblebee movie. And that was another one I couldn't follow. And I just feel like when I think about these movies, it's gotten me to the point now when I see them, I just scroll past them. And I remember when these started dropping, was it back in like 07, 08, 09? There was nothing more exciting than getting a new Transformers movie every couple of years. Because you're like, oh my God, this reminds me of when I was a kid. And now I'm like, yo, fuck this movie. This whole franchise, this shit's ass. But I bet when I have kids and they're like, yo, Dad, what's Transformers? I'm like, yo, this shit was crazy from like 86 to 93 and then again from 09 to 2016. We loved it. Now no one likes this shit, but I'm going to put you on because I want you to have this a part of your life because I had it a part of mine. I feel like it's the only way I go back to Transformers and Ninja Turtles. And this is a random way to end the show, but I just was thinking about this today about how much I just do not like these franchises anymore. And both times that they were rebooted, it just was not good. But I heard there's a new Transformers movie coming out. I probably will end up seeing it, obviously. Who's not going to watch it? I got to see it because you're hoping that it's going to be better than the last. But who knows, man? It's been a good show. I appreciate y'all. This is Lunchtime TV. I'll be back tomorrow, man. You know what it is.